Uh, Hi, um, Linton Herbert here again doing another prophecy number. Um, yeah, there's going to be a bunch of links on this. We won't get into all of them. You want them, go to nobabies.net there. Um, Scoot on down to where it says how to get a hold of me. No one ever seems to. Then you go to links and papers and summaries. That's the key stuff. Source code is only for specialists. You can go to YouTube links for all my YouTube things and scripts. Go to script, click on that, and uh, then go down to the link that says Prophecy 4. All right, King James Version, Revelation, and look, behold, a pale horse. His name is Saturn, was death, and hell followed after him, and the power is given him unto them to over the fourth part of the earth to kill with the sword and hunger and with death and with beasts of the earth. You're not all that worried about beasts of the earth these days. Mostly, we're concerned with protecting them from us. But there you go, kill with hunger. That's biblical. Famine's all too real. Um, if you look at the public debate, in one way it's big money and big government competing. Some say they're the same thing. Um, Look at another way, between globalism and populism, along with related re-traditionalization. Uh, yeah, Steve Turley talks about that a lot. But nobody wants famine. The Nazis were arguably driven by big money, uh, and the communists by big government. Both of those approaches led to disaster. Stalin murdered more people than did Hitler, although that's rarely mentioned. I don't know. The death rate under Mao Zedong, which is what we used to call him, was higher, but they weren't murderers. Red China, they were communists. They broke up all the little private farms and made big communes, and it didn't work. They all stood well. Enormous numbers starved. Okay, now these programs are thinly disguised as effort to get people's attention, so the issue of outbreeding and fertility, which is a big one, gets public recognition. Most popular shows of the YouTube variety seem to be hate-centered and fear-centered. I don't want either of those. I do not understand people, but I don't hate anybody. And instead of fear, I want to induce curiosity. Okay, now those who expect famine on a dreadful scale, maybe this year. Here's a link. Um, uh, go to where I told you and control click. Mechanism invoked for the impending famine, variations in solar output. No doubt climate changes, yes, regularly. For instance, the Younger Dryas was sort of an ice age. The medieval warm period was a warm area. The mini ice age, when milk comes frozen home in pails, Shakespeare mentioned. Those were not caused by industrial coal use, because it was before the Industrial Revolution, all of them. What they argue is that solar energy output goes through cycles. The number of cycles, and when they all get together, it can get very warm or very cold. I have taken that seriously enough to start a little garden. This is a starter garden. I'm going to extend it some more for next year, but right now I'm learning how to see the banana tree. Yeah, these things are all things that someday may be good to eat. And if the grand silver minimum folks are right, every potato I get out of this means a potato that stays in the market. I mean, I'm not worried about food prices. I live off peanut butter sandwiches. Yeah, you can triple the price of peanut butter sandwiches. It'll be fine. My money goes to taxes, insurance, and rescuing one worthy person or another. Um, um, so the arguably the garden is in that critical zone where if nothing happens, it's too much gardening. If something happens, it's not enough. Um, uh, that link predicts real bad things happening to Red China. U.S. Department of Agriculture uh, doesn't raise a lot of concern. Don't have a link there, but USDA is not going to be hard to find. And they say, yeah, right, China will have a little bit of a shortfall in their agriculture this year. Um, but they'll be able to make up by having some of the poorer people eat stuff that's a little bit more basic. So they go along here. I won't read this thing. You can find it somewhere or other, sure. India, another great country. We usually think India famine's right. No. But rice harvest is looking very good. Record rice crop in India. Sorry, no reference. And this is the FDA, Department of Agriculture, again giving us good news. There are some growing concerns in India. As the Indian economy is diversified, agriculture's contribution has declined, relatively speaking. Um, Even though they are self-sufficient in food, India accounts for a quarter of the world's hungry people and over 190 million undernourished people. I'm not sure how you get sufficiency out of that, but anyway, they don't expect it to be a lot worse. It's supposed to be a good year in India. Here's some links. Everybody's seen pictures of flooding in the Midwest. Late season cold in the Midwest, snow in Arizona, amazingly late. But the sources generally don't predict a catastrophe. Here's another USD resource. Yeah, maybe we'll have some less corn, but we'll make that up pretty easily. Let me attend to that telephone. Sorry about that, you know how the fates are. Russia, I had been thinking it'd be up to Russia to make up the shortfall and feed the world when world agricultural production collapsed. The grand silver minimum people don't think so. They think Russia is not going to be able to have a reasonable output this year. The Ukraine, I think it's clear there. Looks like they're going to have the biggest rice production they've ever had. I say the Ukraine, I know it's now called Ukraine, but I still think of it as the Ukraine. All right. Worldwide then, if you want a prediction of famine and terrible underproduction of the world's agriculture, go to grand solar minimum and click there. This is worldwide now. Yeah, that means, yeah, the garden is a good thing to have. If you want a rosy outlook, you go to the USDA and click there, and they'll give you a forecast that's kind of nice. Okay, now then, it is true that the French seem to be having a heat wave recently. Uh, I suppose that argues against the grand solar minimum. Um, but it also argues that the climate is a bit unstable out there. Remember, I showed you a picture of the Arctic ice cap, reflecting how much of the ice cover was actually broken up. This is educational purposes only. You can visit their site. Highly recommend it. I visit it every day. And I'll show you why in just a jiffy here. Okay, 16 June. I've already showed you this. There is the Arctic ice cap. The white means covered with ice. The blue, well, they give you a scale there, but you know, somewhere around 50–60%, you can see that an enormous amount is broken up. The orange line here is where it was where you would expect it to be. Yeah, the Arctic is losing its ice cap. Here it is on the 29th, and I'm talking on the 2nd of July. Well, you can go back and forth, but it looks to me like there's even more that's broken up. And look, this is all open water now. See what it was 2 weeks before. It was getting there. Here, all this here is broken ice. To me, that has no tensile strength. It's only a couple hundred miles from here to here, and that is all, maybe 100 miles, there, is all that tethers the ice cap to the land. That's on 29 June. Here it was only 16 June. And now it's tethered from there to there. That's only 2 weeks. And we've got about three more months of summer to go. Once the whole ice cap comes loose, it could go any direction. What's to stop it? Yeah, some of that still might have trouble getting through the gaps between islands, but there is a serious chance this year of losing the stability of the ice cap. And as I told you, once you get blue water, once you get open water, a circle about like this, 500 miles, 200 miles across. Once that's blue open water, you're going to have a storm going up, heat rising, hail falling. Apparently in Mexico, just in the last day or two, there was a hailstorm. 5 feet of hail fell in one day. Well, yeah, and that's when it looks like this. So yeah, we could get that tremendous hailstorm. Could happen, in which case, well, things will be different. Agriculture is fine-tuned for what we got now for climate. So we may have a real serious fall, absolutely unpredicted by the Department of Agriculture, unless they watch this program, ho, ho, ho. And so, yeah, things might change. Okay, well, hope for the best. I would not think it would be foolish to to do a little gardening. Good luck. I'll see you the next piece of doom and gloom and fear mongering.